Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of the Human Side of Marketing. I'm your host, Chris Angel, here with your host, Kurt Stockwell from Well-Dressed Walrus. Kurt, what? Come on, let's fire it up. Let's go.
Let's do it.
We're not messing around. This is episode 11. So
Man,
we're turning up the heat.
We're old salty vets now.
Yeah, right? The salty vets. And today we're talking saltily about the power of a sales letter. Let's talk salty about the power of a sales letter.
Yeah. So a sales letter, sometimes it's a thing that people don't even think about adding to their marketing, is an actual letter that might go out to announce something that's changing in your business, or something that a new offering, or something that you want your customers to understand maybe in a deeper way. Or maybe sales letters are very second nature to your business, but you've never really taken the time to think through how to write a really good sales letter.
Yeah. And when you say letter, do you mean like a tangible thing I print and mail, or like an email, or how would that work?
Both. Yeah, both. Okay. I think if your audience, if you can mail something, I'm actually kind of down with sending mail from time to time, especially in this digital age.
Down in a good way, like
down in a good way.
Downtown Joey Brown. Yeah.
I think it's a good thing to send mail from time to time. Now, if you are a digital kind of space like us, we actually kind of like to send mail from time to time because it's nice to get something tangible in your hand from a company that you trust, or a company that you're working with. Obviously, we all know that a lot of times there's a lot of spammy kind of things. So this is, again, like we always say, when you clarify your message, your customers will listen. When you clarify your content, you get your message above the noise. Yeah. So this is what you can do to get your message above the noise in a sales letter capacity. So maybe you're not mailing it, but maybe it's going out in an email.
Got it.
One of the things that a really great place for a sales letter digitally is at the end of an email campaign, for example. Mm-hmm. Maybe you've got a five email campaign going out, kind of a nurturing, relationship nurturing email campaign. That last one is kind of that main call to action of a sales letter. Yeah,
I love it. Yeah. Good. And just for sake of teasing out the next episode, this could also, a sales letter could actually be on a landing page as well. Like people could actually go to a page on the internet rather than an email and read through the whole letter.
Sure.
And take action there as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Great.
Really, like I said, the importance of it is, one, to bring clarity to something that you're trying to do in your business. So maybe it'd be good to go through about a handful of things of why you would use a sales letter. Okay.
Let's do it. Yeah.
So, introducing a new product or service, for example,
okay.
would be a good reason to use a sales letter. When you want your customers to act or to contact you. Yep. If you're asking for referrals, that would be a good reason to use a sales letter. Mm-hmm. Generate publicity. Maybe you're a nonprofit and you're asking for donations.
Right.
Seasonal promos. Again, I think some people listening are like, oh, sales letters. We do sales letters all the time. We know exactly what sales letters are. Yeah. So seasonal promos. If you're in the industry where you're doing a lot of seasonal stuff, a sales letter is great for that. To clear inventory. You've got a lot of inventory that you just need to get off the shelves. A sales letter is good for that. If you're selling courses or classes or memberships, great time to use a sales letter. Yeah. And like I mentioned before, the last email in an email sequence is a great time to use a sales letter.
I love it. So let's unpack like the anatomy of a sales letter. So those are some good times to use them, but what does it actually look like?
Okay, so a great sales letter always needs to focus on a few things. You need to focus on the problem that you're solving for your customers. Again, one thing that we're always preaching over here at Well-Dressed Walrus when it comes to content is have empathy for your customer, and your customer needs to recognize that you recognize their problem and you have a solution for it. Now, that is a whole nother discussion. And if you're kind of late to the game in these human side of marketing videos that we've been producing, I would encourage you to go to our website and take a look maybe at some of the other videos that we've talked about in the concept of you as the business. You're the guide and your customer's the hero. That's a whole nother conversation. But when you bring your product in front of your customer and you have empathy for them, and they recognize that you're solving their problem, you're going to get your message above the noise. Include in this sales letter, make sure you include a really direct, focused call to action. Okay. Just the other day, I did a social media post kind of ranting about a piece of marketing that I saw that was a lot of money that this company spent on marketing, but they had no call to action. That's one of the biggest pieces in your marketing that you want to put on everything. Websites, we're going to talk about landing pages in our next episode. In your sales letter, in anything you're doing, call your user or your customer to action. Make sure there's a good call to action in that sales letter. Clearly define what life will look like when someone buys your product or buys this product or service, or what life will look like when they take this class that you're offering, for example. One of the great words that you can use in sales copy is the word imagine. Imagine what it would be like if you bought this product. Imagine what it would be like if you had the knowledge after taking this class. Imagine, something where the user or the customer can kind of engage with your messaging and go, oh yeah, I'm missing out on that. I need that.
For example, like imagine having more money than you need at the end of the month, or imagine having, I know you've used lawn before. Imagine having the greenest lawn in the neighborhood. Like you're actually like taking them to what it is that they want, what they're actually searching for.
Right. Imagine not worrying about fitting into your skinny clothes anymore. Or imagine being your best every time you show up at your networking event, whatever it is, right?
I'll tee one up for you. Imagine having a website that actually produces ROI, that is easy to use, and your customers understand what you do and they engage with you, right?
Yeah, exactly. So clearly define. That's what we do. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I need to send you a sales letter. So clearly define what life will look like when someone buys your product or service. Offer a limited time bonus. So for example, maybe you've got a class, or you've got a seasonal promotion. We talked about seasonal promotions. Maybe, for the next week, if you sign up for this, you'll get 20% off or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Put that in there. Or maybe this is a sales letter that's a follow-up sales letter to a previous sales letter. And you're saying, hey, this previous offer is going away.
Sure. Right.
So some urgency there.
Yep.
Yeah. So those are kind of a good anatomy of what to include in a sales letter.
Okay.
Kind of the rundown of how it should lay out. If you kind of follow this rule, subject.
Like top to bottom.
Top to bottom. Here we go. Subject, top to bottom. So grab a pen and a piece of paper.
Yeah. Right.
Here we go. So you got a subject.
Yep.
Then you got a problem.
Yep.
Then you got an emotional or physiological struggle. Okay, so the emotional struggle. Are you tired of feeling this way? Are you tired of being the scourge of the neighborhood and
you're frustrated?
Your lawn is, you're frustrated every time you drive up to your house and your lawn is so ugly. Are you tired of being sick and tired? That kind of a thing.
Right.
Brief testimonial. Dave started using our product, and within the first month of using our product, he had more energy than he knew what to do with. So I put a testimonial in. The next piece is explain your offer. What does your offer include? One really good way to do that in any of your marketing is a 1, 2, 3. So explain your offer. 1, 2, 3, meaning one, at the bottom of this letter, or access this or go to our website and download this thing. 2, contact us and we'll put together a something specific just for your your needs. And 3, live the best life you've ever lived. Something like that. Putting in a 1, 2, 3 is always a really good way to explain the offer.
I know you guys. So being StoryBrand certified guide, which is awesome. You guys talk about in the SB7 framework, in the StoryBrand framework, is creating a plan, and you share that plan. And oftentimes you can have a 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah, exactly. So put that in your sales letter. 1, 2, 3. I just saw an ad the other day, and the domain name for the ad was, if you'd like to learn more, go to 123simple.com. I'm like, that is a perfect domain name, because in the ad they said, hey, it was something with home mortgages. Right. So to get your mortgage started is as simple as 1, 2, 3. Go to 123simple.com. Using 123 is such a great way to help your user, your customer go, oh, that is simple. I can do that.
Yeah.
The next piece
Hang
is
on,
go ahead.
Anna, just to clarify though, like, because I mean, some people may not know this yet, because this is a new, like, you've added some services to what you guys offer. Like, one of the things you now do with people is you help not only clarify their website through messaging, but you actually walk them through their story brand framework of like, what is your plan? So if you don't know what that 1, 2, 3 is, right, you guys can reach out to Kurt or Andy at Walrus and like go through the process of the story brand framework, because you guys do that now. That's a service, right?
Yeah, that's a service that we do provide. Yeah. And I'm at the end of our little discussion here. I'm going to encourage you to do that.
Okay, perfect. Nice. Wink, 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 wink.
Nice. Explain your offer. A call to action.
Yep.
And then another success story.
Like a testimonial.
A testimonial, or like, again, what would it look like for you?
Got it.
If you
got it.
Take advantage of this product or service.
Got it. Okay.
Another call to action. Mm-hmm. One thing is if you have the space or the real estate in your marketing, multiple calls to action.
Right.
Call the user to action multiple times if you have the space. Sometimes you have limited real estate. And when I mean real estate, like maybe you have a small Facebook ad and there's only a space for one call to action. Multiple calls to action.
Got it. Okay.
The next piece would be that call to action. And then it's always kind of nice in an email or a sales letter to put a PS.
Yeah, like, PSs are good.
Like, PS, if you act now, you'll get 10% off. Or PS, the sale that we've been offering is going to be, ending in the next 24 hours. Kind of things.
I've heard too, like oftentimes when you put something juicy in the PS, like it's one of the most read things in a letter is the PS.
Yeah, it kind of does. It kind of stands alone when we're very much a scrolling society. I think I've talked about that before, where we quickly scroll. Now, in this sales letter too, you have to use a lot of white space. And what I mean by white space is don't take all of the things that we did, and again that kind of breakdown, subject line, problem, emotional struggle, all those things. Put a lot of nice white space in there, and what I mean by that is don't clump all of your words all together, whether that's an email or that's in actual a tangible piece of paper or a mailer. And also, if you can use images, use some images in there. Now, you don't have to get crazy with them, or use images that just for the sake of images. For example, if just for the sake of the image, you want to like put in a picture of the city. We're in Spokane, Washington. Sure. A picture of the city of Spokane, but you sell. You're a dentist. Why have a picture of the city? Have a picture of somebody who people can recognize, not recognize, but they can
tell what you do, like white teeth.
Tell what you do, or exactly, or they can see themselves in that person. I recognize myself as that kind of person. It's funny to me how people a lot of times default to like cityscapes. I don't know why. Why do people default to cityscapes? But they want to use images anyway.
So have a PS, right?
Have a PS, and a lot of nice, a lot of nice white space. Now, one of the things with coming up with a sales letter, it's difficult to write a lot of times. So just start with what you know. If you're writing a sales letter for, let's say you've got you're asking for donations, for example, start with what you know and just start making bullet points, writing down what you know, and then kind of come back to those pieces. You don't have to start with the subject line and then end with the PS and go right in order. Maybe what you know is, I know the call to action that we want people to take, but I really don't know how to write the emotional struggle that somebody might be experiencing. You don't have to start. It doesn't have to follow those.
It's modular. You can like do the different pieces and then sew them all together in the outline you gave us, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. It's good.
Exactly.
That takes a lot of pressure off. I like that, because I've had that where it's like I sit down to write and then all of a sudden I go blank. I'm like, where do I even start? We'll start with whatever's easiest.
Start with what you know. Another thing too is follow other brands like yours and follow their social media. I mean, there's so many ways to see what other brands are doing. Now, don't copy what they've done, exactly, but follow what other mentor brands are doing in your industry, and also stay current with culture.
Yeah.
If you're using outdated language,
Yep.
People are going to recognize that.
Yeah.
So stay current with culture in your messaging.
Yeah. Cool. I like it. What else? Yeah. What else about a sales letter? What else do we need to know? Anything?
I would say, like, as you mentioned before, we're a StoryBrand certified guide, and what StoryBrand is it's a marketing, almost kind of a philosophy based upon the fact that good story can sell your product.
Right.
And it's, by story, we mean tell the story that your customers want to hear. How does your product fit into their story? Not what is your story, and why should they understand your story? How does your product fit into their story? And if a sales letter can make a big deal. I mean, if you have clarity in a product you're trying to sell, you could have like 4 times revenue in sales. If you have if you have a lot of clarity in if your product is really good and people will buy it and they're not buying it, it's probably because you're lacking clarity. So just because you check the box of sales letter doesn't mean you're going to sell. Right. You need to focus on clarity, and maybe you need to hire somebody like us who can come in and help bring some clarity to your product in this sales letter. Another thing too is it's really hard to see the gaps in your messaging when it's just right in front of your face.
Right.
So when you're in the 4 walls of your business all day long, every day, you're not seeing the gaps in your messaging and where it's confusing.
Right.
When you bring in an outside resource like ours, we're going to maybe go through some of your marketing and maybe your website, maybe other sales letters that you've had. And if I, as a consumer or an outside source, are like, I don't know what that means, and I don't know what that means, and I don't know what that means.
Right.
Your customers probably don't know what it means either, because you're maybe using inside language, or maybe you're using terminology that you understand, but your customers don't understand. Now, that's not the case for every single type of business. Sometimes businesses have a very, very, very specific niche, and speaking highbrow, high-level language is okay. But I would seriously consider, if you're listening to this and you have a really important message that needs to get out there, a product you're trying to sell, or something you're trying to do, hire an outside resource. Even if just consulting, hire an outside resource to come in and look at your content and see where it's maybe missing the mark.
You've said it, like, it's just so hard to see that for yourself, because you think about your business the way you think. You use the words you use about your business, and a lot of times, not some of the times, a lot of the times that doesn't translate.
Translate. Yeah. Exactly.
So getting a fresh perspective, somebody else's take on, like, when somebody, like, you tell them what you do, and then like I tell you what I do, and then you say back to me what you heard, like, so this is what you do, and then all of a sudden it comes out as this completely, like, simple thing. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that's what I do. So, yeah, awesome stuff, Kurt. This is really good. So if people want to sort of work with you, like, how do they create their brand script with you? What's the process?
Let's have a conversation. Go to clarifymywebsite.com. And on that link there, you can just click a time for us to connect. And go through where you're stuck in your marketing. That's probably the first conversation, is where do you feel like you're stuck? We have been building websites for years, but something that we're becoming more and more skilled at is this whole marketing messaging piece. And if you're stuck, let's have a conversation to figure out where you're stuck.
I think it's so important, because when you get to, look, you can have all the different assets that people do in marketing, a website, an email campaign, a Facebook ad. I mean, you can do all that stuff, and if your message isn't clear, like, you're spending a lot of time, money, and energy for what? I just think what you're honing in on with the messaging, and that you've added that service, is so important, because once you clarify the message, like, all the things you're doing will actually have a better ROI.
And I'm convinced that there's 3 C's of marketing, and I don't know if I heard this somewhere, or if it came up with it in the shower. I don't know, but it's clarity, content, and consistency. You have to have
marketing, right?
The 3 C's of marketing. You have to have clarity first. Clarity has to be first. You can't expect success in your marketing if the only thing you're doing is consistency, because you're probably being consistently noisy.
Yep.
Or if you've got a lot of content, but there's no consistency or no clarity, nobody's probably even reading it.
Yeah.
So
right.
I guess the big message in anything we're doing in this human side of marketing discussion is clarity is king. Right. And you have to start with clarity.
Yeah. So good. So good, Kurt. Okay. Well, again, you guys, if you want to get started by just talking to Kurt about your messaging or your website or whatever it is you're trying to work on to improve your marketing, go to clarifymywebsite.com. You guys can schedule time there. Kurt, great episode. Thank you. Next episode, we're talking about landing pages. Like, what is it? Right. What do I use it? What do I do with it? So make sure you guys tune in for the next episode. And until then, Kurt, see ya.
All right. Thanks, Chris.